back again. Unapologetic on WOVU 95.9 FM. I'm your host, Eric King. We're doing it and we are enjoying ourselves. This is our first Wellness Wednesday of 2025. So today we got a pretty big show. As you can see from those that are on YouTube, on Facebook. I am in a different studio today. So this is the studio where I started. And every now and again, when I'm back here and inside the studio, it just feels amazing just to be here and be a part of this studio. So today, like I said, is our first Wellness Wednesday. We got a couple things that's coming up. We got our usual midday hump day mix that'll be coming up at 12:15. We have a very special guest. We have Anissa Grady. She will be joining us. She is a licensed individual social worker, and she's going to be talking about, how to protect yourself while supporting others. So she'll be here dropping some knowledge on us roughly about 12:16, about 12:15, and later on, we have Joy King, who is a nurse practitioner. She'll be jumping on and providing us our Wellness Wednesday Medicine Minute. So we'll be doing that. For those that would like to eventually join the call, that is, you can reach us at 216-271-0959. Or you can, get a hold of us on our YouTube channel by connecting with, go to YouTube, go to Unapologetic with Eric King, or you can DM me at Talk to E King on IG. So we got a bunch of different ways for you guys to jump in and jump on with us. So I really appreciate everyone being a part and, holding us down. I want to give a shout out to Levels Barber. One of my brothers, Rodney. Keep doing what you're doing and, keep enlightening people and teaching people and also producing entrepreneurs. So I really appreciate that. Also, I want to just ask a little question. So when we look at Wellness Wednesday or we look at wellness, what's going on in our society right now has promoted quite a bit of anxiety. And what's interesting, I said it last week and I'm going to say it this week as well. My business boomed when we began to when Trump got in office. And what I mean to say that is that there are individuals that are definitely going to be hit by what's going on. But what is definitely going to be paramount is you're going to need places such as Mental and Emotional Wellness Centers of Ohio. That is our organization. You can reach us at 216-282-3733. We do have culturally competent counselors that will be there to support you. But back to what I was saying. Over the past, since November 4th, there's been a high level of what's the word I'm looking for? Anxiety or angst of what's going on. And now that, Trump is in office, there's definitely an extra high level of angst that is going on in our country. And so today's guest is going to be here to just really talk about how we as a culture or we as professionals can guard ourselves while we are attempting to help out others. Because like I said, last 4 years ago, we had a considerable boom in services, and we had people looking for services as well as looking for, ways and support to be held, to be reassured, because that's really what we're looking at. We really want to make sure that, or we really want us as individuals to be safe, to be secure, to not only be someone that, as professionals, someone that can be trusted, but also can be transparent with. Shout out to my, former friend and former co-host of Wellness Wednesday, Stephanie Kels Lewis. She's back to doing her her transparency podcast and her transparency productions on her IG page. I think it's the Perspective Liaison. So if you get a chance to check her out, although she's not a part of the show right now, she is always a part of my heart, and I really appreciate her being a part of the show. Although all those episodes of Wellness Wednesdays, but for now we're going to just go back to it. So, because there's a lot, let's be real. Let me be honest. There's a lot of people feeling burnt out. And in feeling burnt out, some of those people that are feeling burnt out are our professionals or people that you go to for help, whether we're talking about nurses, whether we're talking about caregivers, whether we're talking about mental health providers or legal, let's be real honest, legal providers. We're at this day and stage of our life where we have a fair amount of burnout. And if you're out there, and you're in need of support or giving support, what I want to do is just allow you just to, unplug for a little while, spend a little time with me for the next hour, and just sit back, relax as we go and we talk to Anissa Grady on ways that we can, as individuals, as individual providers, just support those that are providing as well as support those that need to be provided for. And so we're going to bring her on a little later on. And along with that, what I do want to know is if you're out there listening, or if throw a chat or a comment inside of the comment sections at YouTube at Unapologetic with Eric King, or on YouTube, or I'm sorry, Facebook. If you're listening on Facebook, throw a little comment out there on ways that you, especially if you are a helping individual, ways that you allow yourself to decompress and as well as relax right after or around the times that you are, done helping others. Because, like I said, this is one of them times that we need each other. We need each other to press on, to move on, and to lift one another up. There's later on, I'll also give you a couple ways that I see um, in order to lift you up and also to move yourself forward and move everything that you got going on forward. So this is our first Wellness Wednesday of 2025, a full Wellness Wednesday. And I want to make sure that you're feeling supported. So today we're going to go ahead and talk to Anissa Grady. Along with talking to Anissa Grady, we got our at 12:10 in a couple minutes. We got our DJ mix. This week's mix is DJ Weapon. You can find him on SoundCloud, and then we're gonna bring Anissa on at 12:15, and then later on we have Psychiatric Nurse Practitioner Joy, who's going to close us out on this Wellness Wednesday and give us just a bit of a wellness message. If you got any questions, you want to go ahead and add to the the conversation, you can give us a call at 216-271-0959, or you can go ahead and drop us a comment at Facebook, either at Unapologetic with Eric King or Mental and Emotional Wellness Centers of Ohio, anywhere where you can add in or add to the conversation. Or let's lift this up just a little bit with our midday weekday mix. I'm your host, Eric King. And right now, I would like to bring in the one, the only Miss Anissa Grady, licensed independent social worker. How you doing, Anissa? Can you hear me?
Yes, can you hear me okay?
Yes, I can. Oh, we can hear you great. What's going on? How you feel?
A little nervous. I'm not even gonna lie.
Don't be
It's not
nervous.
often I'm on the radio.
You've been doing a lot of nonprofit work, and you've been speaking in front of a lot of people. And when I think about nonprofit work, and I think about what we as mental health providers, to see someone like you out there and doing your thing, is something that I, admire, and something that, I want to ensure that everyone that's listening, feel one, the desire to go out and do, and also understand why you chose to do it. So based off of what you've been doing and all the things that you do, because you're a mom, you're a board member, you have an app that you developed that we're going to talk about later on, and you also happen to be a social worker, which means you are constantly on. So when you think about your work and your advocacy work, what drives you, and why did you believe that this was something that you wanted to do?
Honestly, a long time ago, when I first started off in this journey, I honestly didn't want to be a social worker.
Okay.
But what happened was I was working at Walmart in Tennessee,
Okay.
and I was at the cash register, and there was this man every single morning. You could tell there was possibly a cognitive delay.
Hmm.
He would come in the 90-degree heat, walking on the highway every single morning to get hired.
Hmm.
And it was in that moment that I saw management turn him away
Okay.
every day, saying that it wasn't him because I'm looking for a job. And that really sparked something in me that there are individuals in the community who need an advocate, who need someone to show up for them. And so that kind of shifted my career from going down a psychology aspect to an advocacy aspect to
Gotcha.
support those who may not have that support when they're managing mental health.
Okay. Okay. When you look back at that time, so I assume you were in school because you're from here.
Mhm.
Is that correct? I'm assuming you're in school. When you look back at that time and that one moment, how many moments did you have during that journey that solidified that notion that this is what I'm supposed to be doing? Because so many people have this thought process that I
Mhm.
go to school for this, but then later on, this is what happened. How did you know, or what else did you see along the way that solidified that what you chose to do was the thing that you are doing right now?
So I can only base it off of this thing that I share with my team and people that know me is that there's this gut feeling that I get when I see people that are not um, cared for or treated in an equitable way.
Hmm.
And across my continuum, whether it's during internships, in grad school, and just along the way where I had an opportunity to speak up and be a voice, I'm sorry, for them.
Right.
Even though in my personal life, my voice may have been small, but when it came to sticking up for others,
Hmm.
social services, social work allowed me to do that for the community.
For the community. Now,
Mhm.
a lot of times people don't understand that there is a somewhat difference between counselors. So I'm a licensed professional clinical counselor. You are a licensed individual social worker. In a sense, we study pretty much the same thing, but we have different modalities by which we execute, I guess, our overarching plan in mental health. When you look at this notion of differences, what are some of the things that when you're helping someone, choose which avenue, because you also are a mentor, which avenue to go down in mental health? How do you distinction between what a counselor is or what a social work is, whether it's by a professional or whether you're speaking to someone to support them?
Mm, I hope this doesn't offend my fellow counselors.
Oh, like me.
Yes.
Go ahead.
But the best way I could put it is let's just say we have a nurse practitioner. A nurse
Mhm.
practitioner is someone who has been in the weeds, knowing the ins and outs, having those in depth conversations with their patients.
Correct.
And then we have someone who just goes straight from medical school into practice.
Hmm.
I feel as though when it comes to mental health, that counselors are trained in providing that therapeutic support with the individual, whereas on social services, social work, we
Hmm.
look at the whole environment. So the people, places, things in the community that contribute in addition to. So we're really resource driven along the, kind of uh, what is it? Public health along those kind of dynamics and kind of utilizing that in our therapeutic process. So the outcome is the same, but I think the pathway to get there and the thought process varies in that
Yeah.
sense.
That execution part is the key part, is that there's definitely a difference. And it is, I don't think that's offensive. It's just how we're trained. We have similar ways of training, but definitely when you go to separate them, it is a difference. Are you looking at the person? Are you looking at the whole? Is just how you choose, um, as either a professional or as someone looking for services. When you think about balancing, so before I jump into just your overarching, when you're thinking about balancing your own wellness, what are some things that you do that can personally help others, who are attempting to balance things out in their life?
I think you have to acknowledge first that things are dysregulated.
Hmm.
I think as professionals, and if anyone's like me, you want to get it all done and everything is equally important. And I think we have to learn how to scale
Yeah.
importance. Because I
I'm
tried to
only
do it
I'm
all.
only laughing because I heard this about you. Like you take a approach. I'm gonna do everything all at the same time. But I'm sorry.
Yes.
I'm sorry.
And
I
that's
didn't mean to
and
interrupt.
that's not I would not recommend. But self-awareness is very important when trying to kind of find that balance. You have to know that you are at your breaking point.
Right.
Um,
So that breaking point, that burnout point. So let's jump into that. What are some early signs that someone is experiencing possibly compassion fatigue from our standpoint, or burnout from those that are not a part of the helping profession?
mhm. So there's slight difference between compassion fatigue and burnout.
Hmm.
Compassion fatigue is when we take on a person's story so much it becomes theirs, and the trauma that they're experiencing now, it embodies and becomes our trauma, holding on to that.
Right.
Whereas burnout is that excessive exposure to stress, so
Hmm.
work related stress and things of that nature. Some of the early signs of those challenges are fatigue,
Right.
overwhelm, increased irritability. So if you recognize that, maybe if you have a pet and usually you're very loving to them, and they're one day they're in your face and like, oh my gosh, give me space. That might be a
That might be a
slight
sign.
sign that yeah,
Yes.
absolutely. Mm-hmm.
When we think about burnout, in this day and age, we hear so much about hustling till you can't live no more. I don't
Yes.
believe in that, nor do I subscribe to that. I'm a person that really enjoys my leisure time, and I really respect my time. When we're looking at burnout, and just speak about it from a professional standpoint, when we're looking at burnout, and we are taught that our job at times is somebody to settle someone else's life despite what we're dealing with. What are some ways that you can provide to our audience that provide the opportunity for those professionals that are listening to value their time and value saying no, no, which is a complete sentence
It is with a period at the end.
with a period at the end.
Um, I think that the best way I could share that is, and I'm certain that many of us as therapists have provided this to our clients, is you can't pour from an empty cup.
Right.
And so that's the same ideal that we need to take on for ourselves as we can't. And at the instance of knowing that we're at that capacity, we have to give our clients, we have to give our families or those different people in our lives responsibility to hold, because we can't carry it all. Otherwise, if we try to do it all, especially in this grind culture that we have, we're going to be quick to burn out. And it's okay to say no. And something I told my clients is that once you say no,
Hmm.
it gets easier to.
To keep saying
It really does. It really does.
it does. So there's a difference between capacity and capability. So capacity is what you can hold or what can be held. Think about a cup. And capability has to do about your skills or your ability to do that. When we're attempting to enforce or tell because you also are a supervisor, right? You also dash S's after your name, and I apologize, but you're also a supervisor, which actually means that we as supervisors, we're teaching the younger individuals that are in our profession. When you're teaching, less seasoned individuals to set up boundaries or and trying to stress the fact of just because you have the skills to do it, you don't have the capability to do it. How are you helping them set up boundaries, healthy boundaries, without the feeling of guilt?
I kind of model.
Okay.
That's how I supervise.
Mhm.
I think that there is this mindset that they have to.
Mhm.
We have to always be on.
Right.
And something that one of my leadership have said to me is just because you can doesn't mean you have to.
Amen. Amen.
And being able to sit with that and accept that, because most of us are overachievers.
Yeah.
Can't speak for a generalized population, but we will do it all if we can, but you don't have to. And so I validate my team
Mhm.
in speaking to the anticipated guilt in advance
Mhm.
so that they can know this is normal. It's a normal emotional response, but it's okay. But let's figure out how we can work through this because you deserve rest.
Right. Right. And that rest part is very important because our job is to be there for the people that, we're giving service to. And we don't necessarily, provide that opportunity for us to actually rest because we're taught in so many different programs that this is a part of our job. This is a part of who you are. And so many of us go into this profession not to necessarily help other people. It's to help ourselves. And so that's where we definitely, as supervisors, we have to pay attention that, you're attempting to find yourself in other people. When you're working with supervisees and you're seeing that part of who they are, they're trying to find themselves in other people. What ways do you help point that out with them?
Yeah, so a lot of individuals in the mental health profession are there because of lived experience.
Exactly.
And so I can say for myself, I come from a different dynamic because I don't have the lived experience that has drawn me to social services or mental health. So I can compartmentalize. But when I'm experiencing my staff who are overdoing or getting to that place of burnout, we sit down and have supervision and we talk through like what is that connected to so they can become aware that their past is integrated into their service delivery, because then they'll begin to want to push. And so that's something that I do and I encourage is to call it out.
Yes. Yes.
When you are working with your mentees or if you're a supervisor at an organization, is if you see that there's this hyper execution and drive mentality, it's probably linked to their own trauma response and their own history.
Exactly. And we try to help those by help ourselves in belief that we helping, others, but in reality, we have to be aware and as supervisors or professors or instructors or even just people that love someone that is in the helping profession, we have to pay attention to that. Let's bounce over to your app. So not only are you all of the things that I named off, and also you tend to, from what I hear from board members, you tend to move at 110 miles an hour, and often, be brought back. Tell us about your app and how does it help people protect their own mental health while supporting others?
So my app is called Seeking Supervision, and it is connected to this in a way that's kind of indirect
Mhm.
because the purpose of this app was birthed during COVID and recognizing that there were a lot of individuals who were seeking therapeutic support, but there were not enough
Right.
providers to provide the support. And if you think about there's not enough providers to provide support to this influx and need, we think about capacity when it comes to our caseload and the increased burnout of our mental health providers. And so seeking supervision is purpose to be a marketplace platform for new providers to come in to get that supervision that they need in order to understand how to navigate certain situations such as compassion fatigue or service delivery challenges that might happen so that we can get more providers into the community so that not only just service providers can have more equitable caseload to provide more effective service delivery, but so that our residents, I'm so used to saying residents for permanent provider housing, so that our community,
Right.
I see I do too much, our community can seek out providers to manage their own mental health needs.
Exactly. So this app, you developed it and is going to launch soon. And the only reason why I know that is because you've asked me to be a part of your board, and I'm really appreciative of that. But this app, I heard about this app years ago because you received funding, for this app from various different places. When you, as a mental health provider, went out and attempted to make your mark, not only in the mental health field, but also in the tech field, what was it like, approaching organizations such as Growth Ops to help fund an idea that is based in an industry where most people don't think too much about?
So I will say it has launched.
Okay,
Um,
I'm late.
it
Okay,
has launched. So I've been a little quiet, but
okay,
it has officially launched. Shameless plug, www.seekingsupervision.org.
it's not saying it's all good.
But it was new
Mhm.
prior to participating in the pitch competition, Cleveland Leadership Center, the Color pitch competition of 2023.
Right.
My life was quiet.
Mhm.
And so going through that process really pushed me into an environment, like you said, that is unfamiliar. Social services are servant
Mhm.
when it comes to the helping professions, medical professionals. And so here it is. I consider myself little old Juanisa going to talk with CEOs and funders of different organizations to support this mission that I learned that aligned with their own pain points
Yeah.
of supporting their family members who didn't get connected to services.
Right.
So once I saw that there were individuals who were invested in, supporting this cause, it became easier to have those conversations.
Right. 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 And you did. So yes, give the plug again. And it's not shameless. This is what we do around here. We got to support each other within the community. Give the website again, and then my next thing is let's look at how your app would improve the community as a
Mhm.
whole. But go ahead and give that plug again.
Yes, so my app is Speaking Supervision, and the website is www.seekingsupervision, one word, .org.
Good, good. So the more individuals that we have in, mental health providers or providers that we have in the field provides a better help to those that are seeking
Mhm.
assistance. How does your
Mhm.
app, because part of what we do is as professionals, we have to have supervision. So if we have to
Mhm.
have it, how does your app help get more mental health providers out into the community to,
Mhm.
support those that need it?
Yes, so when doing focus groups and kind of building out this app, one of the pain points were begging for supervision. It's like, who will do supervision for me?
Mhm.
And also, too, where do I go? I remember years ago, I actually Googled supervision and couldn't find anything.
Right.
So it's a centralized location where you can get connected to
Mhm.
um, those supervisors who are open to being able to provide supervision so
Right.
that you can get your hours sooner.
Okay.
And so it is a web-based app that you can access via your phone
Mhm.
to look up and provide I'm sorry, to get connected with a supervisor.
Yeah. And that's the hardest part because I remember when I went out and started. So I was more of an relationship intimacy counselor when I first started out, and I found someone. And the very first thing that this person, said, I charge $1,000 for A, B, and C, and I was like, well, I knew that I needed the help or I needed the
Mhm.
supervision, so to speak. I don't necessarily need it, but I didn't necessarily need it, but I wanted to make sure that I was a great counselor in the intimacy realm. And I was at an impasse. When you hear stories
Mm.
like that and you look at what you are impacting, I mean, hopefully that gives you a bit of a charge to know that the thing that you're doing is going to help those that need the assistance to get out there to do the thing that they need to do.
Right. And hearing that cost is my is a clutch my pearls. Seeking supervision is a social enterprise.
Yeah.
And so for those who are unfamiliar with social enterprise, it is a business that does good.
Hmm.
And so portion of the revenue that comes will go towards scholarships for those who can't necessarily afford supervision.
Right.
And also too, making sure that things are equitable. We want to make sure that people can actually afford supervision.
Right.
Because
Right.
that defeats the purpose, right?
Because we gotta have it. I mean, let's
We
be
have
real.
to
We
have
gotta
it.
have it and I know I'm laughing about it, but it is a very serious thing. The way that the state of Ohio creates mental health providers. There's a certain amount of hours you need. There's a certain amount of
Mhm.
supervision hours you need, and there's a certain amount of tests that you need to get to our level. So, although I'm
Mhm.
laughing, but I truly believe that this app is something that is needed and something that will provide us with, in our field, a leg up in some of the other
Mhm.
fields that don't necessarily have the hurdles that we do, but
Mhm.
do less than what we do. What's your thoughts on that?
I'm just gonna say I agree. Um, I think
No,
the
I'll
biggest
put you on the spot on
value.
that one.
No, I just think that the biggest thing is we as supervisors, we have a responsibility for supporting the next level leader
Hmm.
and with service provision and service delivery. And so this is an opportunity for us to share our knowledge and to mentor
Hmm.
and mold the next generation. And I think that this app will give space for that.
Yeah, I truly believe, and I appreciate. So before we close out, I would like to ask. I had a texter that reached out to me. They want to know, and if you want to text, you can text 216-243-9636. They want to know what are the top three things that they, as a helping professional, can do in order to guard their boundaries.
One, you have to believe them.
Okay.
I think that that's the biggest thing. Boundaries teach people how to treat you.
Hmm.
And so I think one, you have to be able to know yourself
Okay.
because you can't tell somebody how to treat you
Hmm.
if you don't know how to treat yourself or what you're deserving of. So I
Exactly.
think, again, self awareness
Hmm.
is the foundation for everything for me. So really self reflecting. Because if you embody those boundaries and what your needs are and prioritizing your needs, those who have seen how you operate without them will cheer you on and champion you. But those who took advantage of your boundaries will be the ones that will be upset. And that's how you know that your boundaries are working,
Right. When you
and holding steadfast in them. So that would be my encouragement is increasing self-awareness of why you deserve this boundary
Mhm.
and believing it and following through with it.
Got you. Got you. Any you got two more.
Okay.
You got one more? You got one more?
I can do.
Well, no, you got one more statement about boundaries. You got one more?
Oh, boundaries. I'm so sorry.
That's okay.
Um, it's the follow through.
Okay. All right. All right. All right. So what I want to do is just close out. And once again, let's reach out to those. How can people reach out to you?
Yes. If you would like to connect with me, you can email me at my nonprofit email, which is Tricord Cable.
Okay.
Do you want me to spell it?
No. Well,
Oh,
yeah, go ahead. If you want to, go ahead.
TRICORD
Hmm. Hmm.
CABEL@gmail.com.
Okay.
Also, too, I can be found on LinkedIn.
Okay. Any other way? Or is that pretty much it?
That's going to be here for
That's it. All right, I appreciate you coming out. I do. You are doing amazing things, and I need for more people to know that. Not only, those that are seeking support, but also that are giving support. So I really appreciate what you're doing, and I would like for you to keep doing it. So I would like to say thank you, Anicia Grady. I see I said it right that time. Yeah, she is a LISW-S, and she can be reached on all platforms. She didn't give it to you already. So we're going to take a quick break. And I just will really I thank you for being a part of our show and taking the time out to talk with us today. All right.
Thank you so much for having me, Eric.
All right. Let's take a quick break. And on the other side, we got Joy King. I'm sorry. What were you doing in Tennessee again?
Who be?
Yeah, you were attending?
Fisk University.
So Joy King is also a Fisk University graduate. So I'm gonna have two HBCU masterminds on today. So she'll be joining us after the call, or I'm sorry, after our break. So thank you once again. And apparently Fisk creates some amazing people.
They are the Harvard of the South.
That's what. Oh my goodness, she say that all the time. All right, let's get up out of here. I'm gonna go ahead and take this quick break. This is Unapologetic with Eric King on WOVU 95.9 FM. What's up? What's up? Welcome back, Unapologetic 95.9 FM. For all those that are watching online, you are getting an amazing treat because I'm all over the place, answering phones, doing this and doing that. Also had the incorrect ticker up. Or the incorrect number up. So our number here to the station is 216-271-0959. So I did get corrected on that. But on the line, we do have the one, the only, Joy King. She is a nurse practitioner, psychiatric nurse practitioner, and she's going to join us every Wellness Wednesday and drop a little knowledge on us. Are you still there?
I'm here.
How are you today?
I'm well, thank you. How are you?
I'm good. Did you see we just had another Fiskite that came on?
I did. I thought she looked familiar. I was like, I think I know her.
Is that right?
Yep.
Okay. You think you know everybody. But I appreciate you coming on. And so I want to introduce you to the audience. If you have listened to Unapologetic in the past, or you have seen our YouTube or the YouTube page, Joy King is the better half of the King household. So she is a nurse practitioner, and you have a brand new book out called Finding Your Best Self. Before we jump into your wellness winning moment for today, what was the reason behind the book? What was your drive? Let's be real. We're not at home, so I need to talk for real. I need to talk professionally. What was your drive behind it?
The drive behind it was, when I see a lot of patients in community or even in the hospital, there's so much that they don't know about mental health, and so there isn't like ground zero of like basic knowledge. Mm-hmm. So I thought in writing this book, it would kind of give everyone a ground zero to start so that they're aware of what they're experiencing, and it's not always someone coming to them in a white coat telling them what they're suffering from, so they can kind of take part in their care.
Okay. And so the white coat would be who?
The doctors.
The doctors.
Doctor said that I got this, and they can kind of, have some ownership of how they're feeling as well.
How often, prior to writing this book, did you have people come to you and talk about the need? Because you didn't start off. Let's be real. You've been in the helping profession for 20 years now. Mm-hmm. You worked in the hospitals. You worked in different environment. Now you're in private practice. Now you're with another organization. When you think about your journey and you think about, the amount of people who has asked for your assistance, when writing this book, how much of you writing this book was talking to them and all the people that that you support in your day-to-day life?
Oh, wow. Probably 90% of it is, things that I've experienced throughout. Mm-hmm. People I've spoken to, experiences that they've gone through that I've tried to navigate them through.
Okay.
So it's definitely a large part of the book.
That okay. All right. So they can get the book on Amazon. It's called Finding Your Best Self. You can, if you're watching on YouTube or Facebook, you can scan the QR code and jump in and buy this book. Support self-published author, which you are. So let's jump into it. You ready? So the goal of the day is just to inspire reflection and deliver a motivation wellness takeaway. So I'm gonna go ahead and turn it over to you. And what I want is just you to talk to the people based on, the power of saying no and creating boundaries that are beneficial for you.
Sure thing. So, today talking about the power of saying no and just understanding that saying no is not an act is an act of self-care. It's not selfish. If you've ever felt really good at just telling someone no, you want to sit down with that truth. And every time you say yes to someone that's draining to you, you're saying no to yourself. So that's a very important thing to kind of take in mind and say, doing for everyone else, but not doing anything for yourself. And just realizing how you're really not taking into consideration how that's making you feel internally.
Right.
Your capacity to help others is only as strong as your ability to recharge yourself. So think about your phone. If you wouldn't expect it to keep running on 1% battery, you'd plug it in. You'd let it recharge. So again, the same goes for yourself. You have to give yourself the opportunity to recharge.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
And so...
Yeah, go ahead. No, go for it. So let's jump into a charge, because what I want to make sure, or challenge, what I want to make sure is that the listeners, have the opportunity to be challenged on some of the things that they think. So this month, this Wellness Weeks month, what is the challenge that you have for, our listeners and those that, partake in our, fun that we have on the radio?
This week or this month, I'd like to leave everyone with the challenge of, finding a time to say no at least once to protect your peace. It could be due to, declining some extra work. It could be, not picking up that draining phone call. It could be, not taking time for yourself. So just, practice that.
Okay. And based off of your history and the things that you do, what is the number one way that people say yes to others and say no to themselves? So what if you're looking at all of the people that you've worked with, what is the one thing or the one individual in their life that they, have a hard time saying no to?
Their children.
Okay. And okay. Any closing remarks before we jump off?
Closing remarks are just let you know that you are not responsible for saving anyone. You are responsible for keeping yourself well enough to show up when it truly matters. Protect your energy, family, protect your peace, and most importantly, do not be afraid to choose yourself, because choosing you means you'll be around long enough to keep showing up for people who truly need you.
All right. Well, I appreciate your time. And next month, you will be back again, giving us another, Wellness Minute? However way we say it. Wellness moment. But I appreciate you coming out. So this is Joy King. She is a nurse practitioner. You can reach her at Mental and Emotional Wellness Centers of Ohio. You can also grab her book at Finding Your Best Self. You want an appointment with her, call 216-282-3733. All right. Well, I appreciate you spending time with me.
Okay. Take care.
All right. Take care. Peace. All right. So we're going to go ahead and close this show out. We're going to close out a little bit different. Each month, we're going to go ahead, each session or each show, we're going to close out with a old school mix from one of my buddies. So we're going to go ahead and do his mix. But I would like to, a huge thanks to Anicia Grady for, breaking down, everything. Also her fellow Fish Guy, Joy King, for coming on and giving us a moment. The mix earlier, if you liked it, that was with DJ Weapon. So next week we have, let's see, I can't remember who we have, but next week we got another show. Go ahead and come out, spend some time with us, and just, we appreciate everything that you do and everything that you are.